If you guys have been following my content for any amount of time, you will know that I'm pretty relaxed. I'm pretty chill when it comes to sensationalism, hyping up stuff with headlines and thumbnails. I don't have a big problem with pushing the envelope when it comes to that stuff, skating around things when it comes to that stuff. I don't have a big issue with that. But I do have an issue when it is a misrepresentation of the article that you are linking or sourcing, and you are creating a headline or a tweet or a title that is a literal lie because of misrepresentation. And you're doing it to get people mad and outraged to click on your content. Here we got 1.6 million views / impressions on Twitter from a tweet, one of these update accounts like Marvel updates, DC updates, whatever updates, where there's supposed to be fan accounts driven to promote positivity around these movies and TV shows and stuff because they're supposedly for fans. And here we go diving into like the anti-woman stuff that we see on social media by creating a headline or a tweet here that is absolutely 100% a misrepresentation of what is said in the article. We're going to look at the article in a minute. I'm going to show you why this is an absolute misrepresentation of statements made. All right. The problem with this is the sensational stuff on social media is incentivized through money and ad revenue. Twitter is a really bad place for that because there's no guardrails or regulations on really what you can post. Very rarely does Twitter ever remove anything. And this is such a tweet that's not violating any community guidelines. And there is a community note there, but it's not doing anything egregious enough for Twitter to go, we need to remove this. Again, Twitter is very relaxed on what they're willing to remove from their outlets. But tweets like this, where you have a lie or a misrepresentation of what is said about an upcoming project like Fantastic Four, which is a Marvel movie, and of course there's controversy surrounding that, what happens here is you end up with stuff like this. These videos and posts where people lose their minds over an announcement that Sue Storm, a beloved character, could possibly be the leader of the Fantastic Four, which in itself isn't really a problem. It's not really a problem in my mind. I mean, Sue Storm has been around since 1961. 65 years this character's been around. She's been the leader of the team before, as far back as the 80s. So it's nothing new for her to be the leader or the co-lead of the team with Reed. Seriously, it's just, that's the reality of it. But these misrepresented headlines and tweets in our fandom, the one that we love, is problematic because of this reaction. But this is why those accounts do that. That's a problem. And here's the thing. It's a misrepresentation in a way that they feel like they can get away with it because they know that people aren't going to read the actual article to see what is being said. So here's the article from Collider. This is the story here. We're getting the Sue Storm we deserve. The last live-action version of Sue Storm wasn't exactly a win for women. This is certainly not the fault of the actor who played her in the two mid-2000 films, Jessica Alba, but more of a byproduct of more male-gazing era of filmmaking. The Sue Storm we'll see in the first steps is promised to be much more multifaceted. As Curtis astutely notes, Sue is the real center of the four. Okay, the center. She is the center of the four. That's not the same as being a leader. That's literally not the same thing. It doesn't mean the same thing. Then here we get the actual quote. All of that other stuff was from the writer of the article. If you do go back through the comics, you realize that Sue Storm is arguably the leader of the Fantastic Four, because without Sue Storm, everything falls apart. That is not saying that Sue Storm in this upcoming movie is going to be the leader. What this quote does say is that she's an important member of the team that carries a lot of weight that the team has to deal with. And when she's not involved with something, things tend to go a little bit wild. They go a little bit crazy. Nowhere in that quote does it say that she is the leader of the upcoming movie. It doesn't say that. And then he goes, while not naming the past films directly, Curtis does recognize the needs for better characterization of women in these films. We have the desire to date aesthetically, but in terms of character and treatment, who should be front and center? It's like, hey, let's tell the best story possible. Yet again, not insisting that Sue is the de facto leader of the Fantastic Four. So what happens is that one line from that tweet, let's go back and look at this tweet here. Sue Storm will officially be the leader of the Fantastic Four in the Fantastic Four: The First Steps. That one line is an absolute misrepresentation of what was said in that article. It mentioned her being the core of the team, that things fall apart without her being around. Does not mention her being the leader. And then when talking about who's going to be the leader of the team, they wanted to tell the best story possible. Never says specifically that Sue's going to be the leader, Rita's going to be the leader, Johnny, Ben. It doesn't say. It's just those two quotes are compiled together in that segment of that story. And so outlets like this, and this isn't the only one, it's other ones that are doing this too, love to go out with this clickbaity stuff because they know 1.6 million views of outraged people are going to click on it because they're saying that a character, one of the most beloved women in Marvel Comics, maybe one of the most beloved women in all of comics, Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman. I've never heard anyone complain about her as a character. I've never heard that. She's almost completely beloved by everyone, from all spectrums. I've never really heard anybody, honestly, I'm saying this not hyperbolically. I've never heard anybody get outraged about Sue Storm being involved with anything. She's typically always a character that people want to see. So this all of a sudden faux outrage that she might be an important upfront character in the film seems so performative to me. I don't even know how to address it really at this point. These outlets, these update accounts and things like that, they're nothing but problematic. They're just problematic. And this response is so unnecessary. So unnecessary. They're not even reading the articles. That's the thing. They're not reading the article. They're not extrapolating the proper information. They're looking at headlines and then they're getting mad about the headlines. This is a running trend and it's a problem. And us as a community, we need to start calling this out. These fandom sites that are literally, they only exist to attack and demean and destroy the fandom. We need to start calling them out. They are not proper representations of who fans are. They're wolves in sheep's clothing within our fandom. We need to be more aware of that. So I'm going to be more straightforward and call this stuff out in the coming days. It's going to be part of my mission in 2025 is to remain vigilant against these fake fandom accounts that pretend they care about us and they don't. So let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. I'm very curious. And tonight on the Nerdcast, we'll talk about this and much, much more. We have many other topics to cover. So make sure you join us for the Nerdcast, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below. Thanks a lot.